Hi, I'm Ted Wolf, presented by GuideWise. Welcome to the Implementors podcast, where we connect you to the stories and insights of people who have mastered implementation. Why? Because ideas are easy, but implementation is hard. Join us as we uncover the secrets of successful implementation so you can conquer your implementation struggles. Welcome to the Implementors podcast, where we speak with individuals who understand that ideas are easy, but implementation is hard. We talk with individuals who work to implement change in organizations and make them thriving for the best of all concerned. The podcast is presented by GuideWise, and today I'm very happy to introduce and talk with Risa Paskoff, the Executive Director of Aaron's Acres, located in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Welcome, Risa.
Thank you.
Risa, I'd like to start with a little bit about yourself. Tell me just a little bit about how you found yourself in the nonprofit world, and then specifically Aaron's Acres.
Sure. So I was a very serious child. And at the age of 9, I knew that I wanted to go out and help people. So I started volunteering in the school system. I volunteered at a hospital as a candy striper back when, did all these different things. But I worked when I was 16 at a day camp for kids with disabilities. And it was life-changing for me. At that point, I thought, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to have recreational programs for kids with disabilities and let them have the opportunities that everybody has and we all take for granted. Fast forward, I went to college, I got my master's in social work, and we moved to Lancaster. I was raising 2 little kids. So at that point, I was going to just do private practice and do counseling for children with anxiety, ADHD, divorce, death in the family. And that's what I was doing because it worked with my husband's schedule and my schedule. And one Sunday morning, I read the newspaper, which was very, very odd for me to read on Sunday morning. My husband works on Sunday mornings and my kids were young, so I would never be able to sit and read. And I read this article, and it was about this mom, Janice, who was raising her son, Aaron, who has autism, and it was all about her life with him. In the middle of the article, there was one sentence, and the sentence just said, she and a group of parents want to start a camp program. And so wow. I learned who she was. I contacted her, and the next day I went to meet with her, and my husband said to me before I left, they're going to offer you a job. And I said, I'm not looking for a job. I just want to hear what they're doing. And the hardest part was coming home and telling him he was right, because they did offer me a job. So for a while, I did both. I did the private practice, but then I also did Aaron's Acres. So that first summer, we had 11 kids, ages 5 to 9, for a 1-week, half-a-day program at the Jewish Community Center in Lancaster. But I continued with my practice. And for a year, every Saturday night, I was in Barnes & Noble with my husband with spreadsheets and saying, can we do this? Can we not do this? And then after a year, we said, let's just try it and see if we can do this. And if it doesn't work, then I would go back to private practice. So I left my private practice. And Aaron's Acres just kept growing. And so that year it was great. And we just expanded after that. So that's how I got involved with Aaron's Acres in the beginning.
Okay, so take me back to the beginning when you said you were at that, I believe, summer pool, and you found the recreational aspects and it touched you and it moved you. What was that experience like when you were moved by what you saw? And it's almost like the stars aligned for you. What was that experience like?
So it was a challenging summer. My camper, I was assigned a one-on-one, and that child had been born without any disability and had an accident. And so before the accident, she was a real swimmer. And then once the accident happened, she didn't do anything. She really was very limited, very scared. And I took her up to the pool, and I knew in the back of my mind that she had been a swimmer. And I was determined to get her in the pool and to get in the water. And she did get very, very upset at one point, and I was standing behind her. And her head went back because she was just very upset, and it broke my nose.
Wow.
So it was a little painful, but we kept going back to the pool, and I insisted with the supervisors that I still wanted to work with her. And they were like, we don't know if you should work with her because she hurt you. And anyway, I ended up working with her, but we got her in the pool, and she went in the water. She didn't swim the way she had swam before, but she was in the water. And when I told the parents at the end of the day that we got their daughter in the pool, their face, it was just a
Yeah.
turning point for me to know that these little things that we were doing weren't so little. And the
Yeah.
impact that it had on the family was just huge. And that was
Yeah.
life changing. Me seeing the kids, we had a party one day where a dance, and they were asking each other to dance, and we had the music on, and they were dancing and having fun. And for us to then share that with the parents, and for them to
Yeah.
just get that joy, where I think so often parents of kids with disabilities will hear, he's not doing this, he needs help with that, he can't do that. And we were celebrating all this stuff, and it was just, there was such a high. It was completely a life-changing experience for me.
Yeah. Well, very transformational, obviously. And it hit your core.
Right.
So disability is a family experience. Bad events are a family experience. How do you work with families to help ease that, I'll say, that empty space that might be inside?
So at Aaron's Acres, we're very focused on the whole family. So we want to make sure that from the minute that the family contacts us, they are experiencing acceptance, welcoming, no matter what disability their child has, they're going to be okay at Aaron's Acres. I want, I look at it and it sounds corny, but I want the whole experience to be re-energizing. So while the kid goes to our program, I want the parents to be able to re-energize, to recharge, to feel that our staff really want to see their kids. I mean, there are staff, parents that say to us, you're the only staff that's happy to see my kid. And I think about my kids now, and they're older, but when they were young, if I ever went anywhere and felt that somebody wasn't happy to see my kid, talk about mental health and the negative impact it would have. So
Sure.
We look at the experience. We want to celebrate and show the parents that they can celebrate. We have parent programs. So while the kids are at camp, we've done manicures, makeovers, massages for these parents, where so many of my friends take manicures for granted. I'm going every week. For these parents,
Yeah.
so many of them said, I've never gone for a manicure. I've never had a massage. So we are
Yeah.
looking at the whole family and saying, we are celebrating you, and we want to give you the strength to keep going. We train our staff. At the end of every day, they have to tell an example of what their child did. Not just Johnny had a good day, because that doesn't mean anything. But Johnny was amazing in the water. He took turns sharing a toy. And I always say, I want the parents to have that picture in their mind and keep it in the back of their mind, so that when down the road they're hearing in school this obstacle or that challenge, they could say, oh, but at Aaron's Acres, they told me he splashed better than anybody else. So
Right.
we do try and take care of the whole family.
So you're basically reframing the experience for the family and helping them understand there's some positives, and that's all part of life. And we want you to experience this so the family can move through the experience a little easier. So how long does an individual who comes to Aaron's Acres, how long do they stay and keep returning to Aaron's Acres?
So right now at Aaron's Acres, we have children between the ages of 5 and 21.
Okay.
But we are expanding. So we will be going to age 30.
Okay.
It's been very hard for us when parents are saying, this is Johnny's last summer. It's very, very hard, because while there are programs out there, parents will say, your program's just different. The type of care, the support, they want that to continue. So we are going up to age 30 within the coming year.
Okay. So obviously people keep coming back. When they keep coming back and you see the family age, I mean, if somebody comes in and they're 7 years old and all of a sudden now they're going to be 21, the family ages, how does that affect you?
Well, the positive is we have these connections, so that they're not just a family that we just say, hi, Johnny, or, Susie. We are really with them and connected throughout the year. During COVID, we were blessed with a grant from the Steinman Foundation, where they said to us, your family's better than anyone. We're giving you money. Call each family and see what they need. And my program director, Elaine Burnett, was on the phone with every family saying, what do you need? And so many families like, you do so much for us, you don't need to. And we're like, no, we have money right now. So it's more than just us providing one program. We are connected with these families when there's a need, when we see on Facebook, or we tell the families, if you're in need or hurting, something's going on, let us know. We've given, gift cards to families in need if they're going through a tragedy of some kind or a challenge. So to see them over the years, it just really reinforces the relationship. But also we see everybody they're aging. And then, of course, you're thinking what's going to happen as everybody continues to age, right?
Yes. And I'm sure that'll take you into new territories and mountains to climb in the future, way beyond 31 years old.
Right.
So you obviously have a connection that goes beyond a one-time experience in the summer of whatever it would be that might last a day or a week. How do you stay in touch with everybody throughout the year to keep building and nurturing that community and showing them that you're interested and they're important?
We have programs throughout the year. So we do 6 weeks of camp over the summer, but then we have monthly recreational programs. So we are touching base with these families and the participants. We're constantly giving them resources, sending out if there are events going on that are in Aaron's Acres. We're not just about our organization. We really want our families to know here are things that are out there, take advantage of. Unfortunately, for a lot of our families, they say raising the child with a disability is not the challenge. It's figuring out what's out there. No one is sitting down and saying, here are all the services. Like we all tend to just focus on our own services, right? Well, Aaron's Acres, we try and really say, we're doing this, but we have great partners. We partner with therapeutic riding stables, a fitness program. So we're constantly saying, here's a program, try this. We started doing during COVID and we're continuing virtual seminars. And we have 60 people on a call and we're doing financial planning. How do you advocate for your child in school? So we're looking and always saying to families, what other things do you need information on? It's whenever we've grown, it's because we've asked the parents. They know better than anyone else, than any professional. Yeah. What do they need and what resources do they need? So we're trying to provide that in a variety of ways.
So you're actually acting as a guide to them and striking similarities between nonprofits and for-profit businesses. They both have the same challenges. The accounting might look different. The bottom line might look different, but they have the same challenges. Everybody has a purpose. You want to develop those connections. And it's very interesting that you said that one of the key values that you offer to families is they say, we don't know what's out there. And you help educate them. It's very similar to what we do with businesses. They don't know what vendors are out there and who to go to and who to trust. And that's the hardest part of growing a business. Right. How do I develop my reliable partners and vendors and things? So how do you actually go through and vet organizations that are worth sharing with your people, your members, your community?
So my program director and I, we will go visit sites. We will go visit other programs because we always want our families to say, if Aaron's Acres is okay with it, then we're okay. So we have not promoted any program that we have not seen. Once we've seen them, we've done carnivals in the past where at the carnival, we have a resource fair. We know parents are not going to go out another night and get a babysitter. That's not going to happen. So at the carnival, right next to the bounce house, we would have a resource fair. And we would invite organizations that we really trusted. Families then would go around and say, if they're here, then Aaron's Acres is okay with it, then we're okay with it. So we are a big collaborator. At camp, we have therapeutic riding stable. We partner with them. We partner with a fitness group. We partner with a music therapist. So all of those resources we're always sharing with families. We always want that trust to be there.
And then expand your community and your reach and your impact that you have on your members, and that can be dramatic. Making the putting the pieces of the puzzle in the right places is half of being successful, obviously.
Right.
So you mentioned Aaron's Acres. Where did the word acres come from?
It went with Aaron's. I think our big vision was that we were going to have this big property and expand and just be acres of programming, meaningful program for our families.
Okay. So how have the programs expanded?
So when we first started, as I mentioned, the kids were 5 to 9. And I worked from my home, and this is just a funny story. And my husband said, what's going to happen when Johnny turns 10? And I said, Jack, we're just doing 5 to 9. And he said, but seriously? I said, no, we're just doing 5 to 9. This is really, we're starting out. And then Johnny's mom calls and says, Johnny's turning 10, and Jack's hearing me on the phone. And I said, all right, so we'll move to 10. And I hung up, and Jack goes, that's great, Reese. You really stuck to your guns. So he goes, one day I picture, you answering the phone and saying, my son is 65 years old, and you're going to have a program. So we have expanded 5 to 21. We expanded the weeks. When we first started, I was a half-day program for a week. Now we're 6 weeks, full day, half day. We have the monthly program during the year. Friday nights for 13 to 21-year-olds, where they go out into the community and do what you and I would do. They go to Hershey Park, they go bowling, they do miniature golf. Saturday night, we have a program at Millersville University for younger kids. We're always trying to replicate what typical kids do. We can do that with just more support. So that program has grown. We've also done during camp, we have a program that the older kids, go to camp in the morning, but in the afternoon, they go out into the community and do community service projects. So it's called Aaron's Acres Acts of Kindness. So basically, instead of looking at the Aaron's Acres camper as those who we take care of, they're going out and taking care of other people. So we go into a nursing home, we go help out at Power Packs, at Habitat for Humanity. So that's a different program that expanded, but it's really educating the public. These aren't just people that we take care of, but these are people that can help other people. So that's been a new program. The other thing that we've done is we started doing flag football for 21 to 40-year-olds. And then we're doing sports programs also for that age group. So they're doing flag football, they're doing kickball, soccer, floor hockey. So we're trying to expand programs so that we are meeting the needs of people as they get older, and just want to have that opportunity to be in a recreational setting with their peers, but have the support.
Yeah. So you mentioned something that caught my interest, and that is that they're going out and helping other people. Ultimately, I think we all help ourselves by helping other people. And that's the core of life. And that's what keeps us bonded and together, things like that. I'm going to ask you to go back and think every business, every organization, not just a for-profit business, but every organization has some rainy days. Generally speaking, when you're growing an organization, there's one or two long nights in the wilderness challenges that you're going to wonder if you ever make it through. What is one of those turning points in your life with Aaron's Acres where you just weren't sure, you were out in the wilderness and you just weren't sure you were going to pull through? What was that experience and what was it like to go through that?
I think probably in year 4 or 5, we were growing our program. So we were in Lancaster, but we were also growing in Berks and Dauphin. So we had literally camp programs in Berks County and Dauphin program in Lancaster.
Okay.
Looking at 3 sites, handling 3 programs. So it had to be after 5 years. It was probably after maybe 8 or 9 years. I remember waking up in the middle of the night and of course, elbowing my husband and just saying, I can't do this. It's overwhelming. Managing 3 locations, managing all the staff, worrying about raising the funds. I said, I'm not the right person for this. And I give my husband full credit. He believed in me. And he just said, you got this. And I said, I can't. The responsibility was just so much. And he said, you are going to be able to do this. And he gave me the strength. And I give him full credit. I would never have gone this far without him believing in me.
It was a family experience.
It was. I mean, my husband says, this is your 3rd child, and this child's not leaving home. You do tend to, you get... I tended to doubt myself. I tended to, this is a huge responsibility. People are going to find out I don't know what I'm doing, all those things. But I did get through it. But it was very scary.
Risa, that's what in business we call the imposter syndrome coming out. And everybody who starts a business has that at some point. There's some critical event that makes you question yourself. And I think what you're really doing is going back and just reconfirming and recommitting to the purpose of the organization at a deeper level. So after you went through that dark night of the soul, we'll call it, okay, question yourself and everything, how did the business change? How did you change?
I think there was a part of me that I kept thinking, okay, if it's going to work, I've got to be more confident and I've got to just do, and I really figured out what is my strength? And so then I just focused on that. I focused on the fact that I don't have strength in certain areas. And so what I did was I was really good about feeling comfortable to say, this is my area of strength, connecting with people, interacting with people, the passion to do the programs. But I brought on people and felt comfortable to say, I need your help. that are in finance, in marketing, in business. I'm a social worker. So I had the confidence, I built the confidence so that I could say, I'm okay with saying to you, I don't know enough about finances. I don't know enough about marketing. And really just saying, this is my area and I'm going to really focus on that area. But I think the confidence had to be there, because if I didn't have the confidence, I would never admit to anyone, I don't know, I'm okay saying I don't know about finances, right? So it was,
so the experience then was really a lesson in humility, in that I can't do it all.
Right.
I got to build a team and surround myself with people to do it. And that's one of the most important lessons an entrepreneur, whether you're for-profit or nonprofit, has to learn. That sense of humility where I don't have all the answers.
Right.
I can't do it myself. I have to learn how to bring the best out in other people.
Right.
And remarkably, and very similarly, that's what you do with your, I'll call them your members, the individuals that come for your programs. You bring the best out in them through the programs, and you in effect change their life. Now all of a sudden they can help other people. And I think there's a direct correlation and a direct corollary there between your business, how you helped it evolve as you evolve, but you're doing the exact same thing for the people that are coming for your programs.
Right.
That's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. My compliments to you. So what is one of the biggest, most proud memories that make you feel good that you've gained from and through the organization and the people you surrounded yourself with? Moment of graciousness, we'll call it.
There's so many, I get really emotional.
Okay. We all do. That's good.
When a family writes us a letter, or a family calls, or I see a family and they tell us the impact that the program had on their child, there's nothing better than that. My child was scared to leave the house. My child and I fight all the time to get ready in the morning. And now my child is getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, dressed in the pajamas, in the van, going camp. I mean, these experiences where they never had that. I had a parent just recently tell me her first summer, she sent her child to camp and he had a seizure disorder. And she was very scared, because having a seizure disorder, she would usually stay at a program. And we were like, no, we have nurses. We don't need you. And she was scared that first summer. Well, this past summer, the first day of camp, he had 10 seizures by noon. And each time the nurse called the mom just to say, this is what's happening, but he's okay. And at the end of the day, I called the mom, or I saw the mom at camp, sorry. And I said, I heard you bonded with the nurse today. And she said, you know what? When the nurse called each time, I hung up and I said, Aaron Zakers got that. That was the biggest compliment, for that mom not to be panicked, but no, okay, my son's having a seizure, but I trust Aaron Zakers and I can breathe. Those kind of moments is where I feel like this is good.
Yeah. And corollary to that is my brother and I built a business, and after selling the business, we made sure everybody in the business got some stock as a thank you. And sometimes it was very sizable. For years, I got phone calls and letters in those days and emails saying, thank you. Without that, I would have never been able to send my child to college. And one person said, I took my kids to Disney World and it was the best vacation we had. They're the things you remember.
Right.
That's what means the most in building an organization.
Right.
So what's the reach of Aaron's Acres? You mentioned, I believe, Lancaster, Berks, and Dauphin County, I believe. How far does your reach go?
So we pull in families right now from 7 counties. We've had families that drove up here from West Virginia, stayed in a hotel for 2 weeks for their 2 kids who had disabilities. And she said there was nothing in that area. And so she stayed in a hotel room. Her husband came up on the weekends, and then she was there with the kids during the week. We had a family this past year from England. They were coming into the States. They did some searching to find out where they could have their kids go to camp for a little bit. And they came here for 2 weeks, and then they continued their travels. But they had heard about us through, I think, a niece who worked at one of the clinics down at Hopkins. So I would say our reach is, beyond just Lancaster, but it is primarily Lancaster.
Okay. So, Risa, you have a lot of good memories, and you obviously have created a small miracle in Lancaster County with Aaron's Acres. My compliments to you for that. But what do you see the next mountain that Risa will climb? Where are you going to go next?
So we are in the process of moving in that direction where we have already contracted with a capital campaign consultant. We have a real estate agent. We're celebrating our 25th year. And in all the years, we've never owned our own. Thank you. We've never owned our own property. We just partner with places for swimming, for the camp, with Millersville University. So we really are ready to have a building and have our offices, our storage, and all of our programs in one place. Right now, our offices are in Greenfield. Our storage is on Roarstown Road. Our camp is in New Holland. We really want to have everything in one place. We want to create a community hub that would be more than Aaron's Acres, where other organizations, other nonprofits that we partner with would come together and create this collaborative environment. And we would expand the ages to 30 and expand all our programs, but really have meaningful program for that age group of 22 to 30 once they graduate from high school. It would be a place where everyone can hang out. Everyone can do a variety of things. We have a social enterprise within the building running a cafe. We're hoping to have a farm where the older people would would raise the vegetables, the flowers, the herbs, and even go to market selling them. So it would be purposeful life for people with disabilities. One of the things that parents have said over the years is after my child turns 13 or 12, the school after school program doesn't take kids over 12. So they have nowhere for their older child who has a disability to be after school. So again, we're hearing what the parents are saying, and we want to provide that. We want to do more of this resource sharing. So we become this community hub in a lot of ways.
Well, I would say that hearing what you've done in the last 25 years, you've taken care of Aaron, and I have no doubt in the future you'll take care of the Acres part also. I have no doubt about that.
Thank you.
So my last question, look back 25 years ago to Risa. What would you say to her today, looking back on yourself starting out?
I would never have imagined that this would have happened. To take on a new project, to start from the beginning. If you told me that this was going to happen, I would never have believed it. To take on, and now I do feel comfortable with numbers, and I do feel comfortable with business plans. I have a very big fear of talking in front of groups. And I do it. But that would have been something that if it was another job, I would have said, I can't do public speaking. But I've been blessed because I've been able to grow so much, and I'm living my passion every day. But I think I would look back and say, I don't believe that you did all this. It's beyond, but it's not because of me. I mean, you bring a community together, right? And you have all these people that believe in it also. So we are where we are today because it's a community of people that have come together. But,
I guess it would be correct to say that night that you woke up and you jabbed your husband in the side and said, I can't do this, paid some dividends to you. You reframed it and you took your ego out of it and made it all about serving other people, helping other people. And you've remained true to that, and you've grown the organization. So my compliments to you, but also my compliments and thank you to your husband. This is a family experience. And he does have a role that he has played in this. So I want to thank him also for his patience and humility in helping you nurture it, because he gained in many ways in his own way, I'm sure, as much as you have and the people that you've helped. So all around, it's a win-win-win situation.
Thank you. Yes.
So I'd like to thank you for your time. This has been a wonderful conversation. I'd love to keep the door open to talk to you in the future and monitor your progress and help in any way we can. But it's obvious Pennsylvania has a very nice asset in Aaron's Acres, and you've worked hard and it's paid off. And my compliments. And you have implemented some very difficult lessons and overcome the challenges, and my compliments for that, my admiration.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Are you an implementer who wants to share your stories and insights on our podcast? If so, reach out to us at studio@implementors.io. Hi, Ted Wolf here. I want to thank you for joining us for this Implementors video. The Implementors podcast is presented by GuideWise, where we, along with our vetted member community, recognize that ideas are easy, but implementation is hard. To learn more about getting things done with GuideWise, please visit us at guidewise.io. And to conquer your implementation struggles, please like and share this video and subscribe to our channel. Happy implementing.